the network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is AVWeek, episode 200, recorded Friday, June 19th, 2015. InfoComm 2015, part 1.
Ready.
AVWeek.
Performing scan.
Week.
Online.
This is AVWeek.
This is AV Week, your weekly wrap-up of audiovisual news and information. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host. Last week, we spent at InfoComm 2015 in beautiful Orlando, Florida. Had the opportunity to speak to a number of really great AV professionals, from manufacturers to integrators to consultants. So what we're going to do for the next couple of episodes, this is episode 200, we're going to bring you those very conversations. The first group of folks we talked to was Brock McGinnis, Dave Hatz, Adrian Cotterill, and George Tucker. First, we brought up Adrian Cotterill from Daily Do and asked him what he saw at InfoComm 2015.
The cynic in me would say that not much new from ISE.
Okay.
So
that's a valid answer, though.
I think a lot of the new products in the space that we focus on, digital signage, is often put out first in Amsterdam. So not a great deal of new stuff. The thing that I really liked was Christie's Velvet LEDs, the 1.2 mil products. The Layard, I think one of you guys told me yesterday when I came here about the Layard sub 1 mil. I think that was you. We went and had a look at that. Was really cool. A couple of good software applications. I think those charging boxes are pretty good. The Brightbox stuff. Yeah, they've got a booth and they charge your mobile phone. Quite cool. But not that much new really from my side of things.
Next, we asked Brock McGinnis from Westbury National what he saw at the show.
The highlight of my week was seeing InfoComm CEO David Lebuskas at the AVNation tweet-up yesterday. That and the news that Extron has become a major underwriter for AVNation was also a spectacular thing to hear. I saw some good things that are going to help us with what we do every day. I'm an AV integrator like Dave. There is a backroom product that Shure was showing that will help us do audio better in conference rooms. QSC has a new audio product that will help us do audio conferencing better, easier, less expensively. I just saw a couple of cool things at the Kramer booth. The HD-based T 2.0 standard that allows 4 USB streams to be plugged in at the table and transported wherever you need them to go over the same wire as control and signal. And that is going to make all of our lives a lot easier in this Skype for Business world that we live in. I thought it was interesting that they brought out a ClickShare-like button for their Via Connect Pro and Via Collage product. That was pretty cool. I've seen some great LED as well. Mm-hmm. I still think that Celcon Core has some of the best looking product on the floor. They're certainly winning most of the big deals. They've won a big Microsoft retail deal. They've done some great boardroom projects, including for Pepsi in New York City, and we think at this point that they are the category leader in 1.2, 1.6, 1.9, not out of home as much as public display, corporate display. They've just executed a huge utility project in the state of California that is probably the largest utility control room LED wall that apparently looks fantastic. I've just seen pictures. There are a lot of new tools, and are they new inventions? No, they're enhancements. But I came here looking for USB solutions. USB is the bane of our existence, and I've found some, and some better conferencing audio solutions. Phoenix Audio Technologies, I don't know if you've checked them out. They make a tabletop beam-forming 360-degree microphone that actually has a solenoid soft button where you can mute, change volume on the speaker in it. It's $695 list. It has a USB output. It can be extended and combined, and that is a better looking and appears to be a better performing, not having tested it, but a better performing product than what we've been using in that space. They're going to get a phone call next week. So that's me.
As Brock mentioned, digital out-of-home, or DOOH, is something that's been brought up in the digital signage arena. Since Adrian Cotterill runs dailydo.com, that's his space, we asked Adrian to give us his definition of what exactly is DOOH, digital out-of-home.
Well, it's not really you can have out-of-home, which is indoor, which confuses people. So out-of-home is really traditional outdoor billboards. And digital out-of-home is anything that makes that digital. So, of course, the billboards, LCD, other technologies that you use in the advertising world. So out-of-home is what people would call outdoor advertising. But, of course, outdoor advertising can be indoor, because you can have it in a shopping mall or a metro or subway or railway station.
Next up, Dave Hatz gives us his insight on what he saw at the show this year.
Well, I think Brock actually took a number of the things that I had on my list.
Sorry, Dave.
No, that's all good. It just means we found good things. So
I just logged onto your phone.
Well, hey, there you go. I honestly, the coolest thing I saw is nothing really extraordinary, but Mystery Electronics, a little company, has a box that I've been asking the major control manufacturers to make for years. It has 6 audio mixer faders on it, a number of buttons. The faders are motorized, and it talks IP back to a number of audio mixer manufacturers, so Biamp being one of them. So the idea is, this is a motorized fader that now talks to my Biamp mixer. So I can still have my control system do, say, an auditorium. I can have my touch panel that does all the normal audio controls we do. But when I have that live event once a month, once a quarter, I now have a tactile surface that I can program to make those faders do whatever I need to. Previously, the alternative is to go buy a high-dollar digital mixing console.
Yes.
And an awful lot of work to make it happen.
To go from scene to scene to scene
exactly.
to scene. Yeah.
Exactly. And typically we don't need a lot of faders. We just need a couple of physical faders, because that's the interface that, in production world, that everyone is comfortable with.
Right.
The other one I found is actually a product I had been ever so slightly exposed to, but from company Luminex, has Ethernet switches with a Neutrik EtherCon connector on them, on the front. So again, they're gearing it towards the rental staging market, where you have a lot of drop-down, you need the tactical cat cables and that. But in our installations, there's an awful lot of cases where I can think of, putting a box or putting a switch on a stage, putting a switch in a podium, where you need that, you want to patch in and out category cables, but now you got a ruggedized connector to do so. The other one I actually found just on the way over here, go by Barbizon's booth, and they've got a gaff tape gun.
Oh, the gaff gun. Yes.
The gaff gun.
The gaff gun is awesome.
So
gaff gun.
You got to see this. It's awesome.
You have to see this. You put a roll of gaff tape. It's like a little, like the things they use to measure distance along the floor. It corrals your cables. So if your cables are splayed away, it corrals your cables into one channel and puts the tape on top of them. I wish I would have thought of it.
George Tucker from World Stage and AVNation also gives us his picks for what the best things at InfoComm 2015 were.
Well, for the staging end, the gaff gun I saw, I've been seeing those guys for a while, and I really want them on our show. They're a lot of fun, and it's a really, really neat product. But also there's a guy's Look Solutions just around the corner. They're the only foggers. They're the ones I've been calling all day the fetish foggers, because it's been just like fog.
It is. You see them a mile away.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like just there. It's all around us, but it's great. But they make a mini fogger, which is really awesome. It's about the size of one of those USB chargers for your phone, and it can go almost for 2 hours constant stream. And it comes with little syringes, and you put them in, and it just fogs away. And it's awesome. It's water-based. It's a little controller, but yeah, you just carry it around. It's about yay big, man. I mean, it's awesome.
That's
and
awesome. That's cool.
Big stream, and it's water-based with a little glycol, nothing much else, and it's great.
So you're into really small things, aren't you?
Yeah.
Pico projectors.
Yeah.
Mini foggers. Anything else we should know about? He does?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, see? Yeah. No, I don't.
Don't get that song going in my head. That's the earworm from heck.
In the digital signage area, which looking at the map, the digital signage area of this show has grown like Chinatown taking over Little Italy in New York. It is expanding in both directions, and you eventually go, wait, it was not this big last year. Oh my gosh, it's big. And it's not just the displays and the mounts, it's the creation content software. It's the easy small business owner being able to pull it down and make something really quick. They had a whole pavilion where they went live and talked about the different aspects of it. But two of the booths that I found in there that I was really fascinated with were VizLogic, which does sort of a transparency cube. They do one where they get, you can flip it and use the LCD screen, so it'll look right through, say, like a Coke machine. And you see the bottles there, and it will do all this fancy stuff and graphics over it. It's really nifty. And they've got a little, you put it on a window for your storefront and do some interactive stuff. Really good data acquisition on what and where is getting the hits. So if you have 25 stores and you're getting responses, you know who and where. The other one was called Real Fiction. I don't know if you've seen this. Real Fiction, it is basically a Pepper's Ghost. They take an LCD and they reverse mirror it down through a little accent light. And the accent light is about that big. And it lights up the product and overlays a mapped image to it. So they have one which is a model of the Millennium Falcon. And the Millennium Falcon lifts off out of it. It goes flying around and TIE fighters come in. They did one with a perfume product where it goes above it and sort of does a 1940s noir film circling around. But the best part of it was they showed two Galaxy 6Xs in their little boxes, and the video can map, and the video can synchronize, and it can go between the displays, and the video will trace out. And it's really fascinating. And when I asked the people in the booth how many, she said, how many you want. Network lag is your only concern, was their statement. Right. And they'll use their media player, but they all use others. And the other one was, I'm really in love with those Modero panels at AMX, and now they got one that goes in and out. The motorized. It was really cool. I could watch it all day long.
George mentioned the Modero pad from AMX. The Modero also has NFC, which is unique for a touch panel system.
Yes, the NFC part, that was really cool. With 4 layers of security and, more importantly, LDAP integration.
Exactly. That's right.
And that's, we have a hotel project coming up where we're going to use that for meeting room permissions. So the organizer swipes their room key in front of it, and they're going to be able to, they can operate these parameters of the system or that parameter depending on their level of professionalism, whether they have a tech with them or not. It's a unionized environment, and the hotel operator is taking steps to kind of reduce the expense for somebody to hold a meeting in their space. So, and it's a simple approach to helping out a very complex problem.
They seem to all be doing that now, is getting into that data acquisition and predictive actions.
Yeah.
We know your card does this, you will get access here or there, or you come in with usually a tablet and here it is, it's live.
Yeah.
It's really cool. They're all doing it.
As we wrap up, we ask Adrian Cotterill, who's from England, why he comes across the pond to visit the InfoComm US show.
Mainly because it's in Orlando.
and all the English people come to Orlando, don't they?
Yeah, we like Orlando. Yeah. When we looked in our diaries going back, we tend not to. We always say we tend not to cover InfoComm because it's too AV for us. But we've been to InfoComm Orlando 2007, 2009, 11, 13, and this year, and only done one InfoComm in Las Vegas, which was in 2010. Primarily for us, it's a good chance to meet a lot of our clients and a lot of people who advertise or sponsor things that we do. So we had good meetings with Barco, Nanolumens, Christie, NEC Display Solutions, etc. So it's primarily really to meet those people. We do walk around. The digital signage zone, although you say it's sort of grown, it's still pretty tiny compared to what we have at ISE. ISE now has a hall and a half of digital signage. Those of you who went, a couple of people went and you would have seen it in Amsterdam in February. So it's pretty tiny. When we go into the digital signage zone here, I think that the organizers of InfoComm have sort of not let the show down, but there's too much Chinese LED stuff there. It looks like something from a Blade Runner film. You know. You know.
Why is it a problem?
I think it's a problem for the people that because you have a mix. You have you've either got if you do a show with digital signage, you've either got to have a digital signage hall which is just digital signage with high quality digital signage stuff in. What you have here is you've got NEC, you've got Sony, you've got another big manufacturers not in the digital signage zone, but they're some of the biggest players in the space, and Christie and whatever. So when you come into this space, which is the digital signage zone as InfoComm put it, you end up with cheap Chinese LED next to a nanolumens, which is obviously not a cheap Chinese LED. And then you get a Sharp, and you get other people, and I think also the people that you suggested, like the real fiction people, I think they sort of get let down because it dumbs the whole thing down. It's like, if you've ever been to CES, there's whole halls of, Asian manufacturers, and it's great for what you get, but when you walk into the hall, you know what you're getting. You're going to be sold a battery pack for your iPod. You're going to be sold some nano, that thing the fog dispenser type thing, or some little keychains. I think quality of shows is very important to keep advertisers keep coming back, sponsors keep coming back, and I don't think that you get that quality sometimes when you just bring in, you're just selling space, and I don't think that's the right thing. That's just me personally. ISE, Mike Blackman, who runs ISE, has done the most terrific job of any show organizer in the world. And I'm not saying that just because I'm European and he's also British. He lives in Germany, but when ISE started 12 years ago, it had 2,500 people in Geneva. Then it grew, went to Amsterdam, and every year it's grown and grown and grown. I think they had 60,000 people last year, which is remarkable. But he's done it because he's kept the quality high, and he said, right, this is video conferencing in this hall, this is digital signage in this hall. And every couple of years, I mean, the years when digital signage really took off at ISE were probably 2010, 2012, and he really did a lot of effort, made a lot of effort to put a hall together. And then he sort of left it alone, and it's grown, and it's good quality. And then he's gone off and done unified communications or video conferencing. Now we're seeing drones. So he'll do, he does it bit by bit. So it's just a quality issue, I think, rather than anything else.
And what should we do here at InfoComm with the LED manufacturers? Where do they go? Do they go in an area by themselves?
That's a good question.
Is it are you offended by it only because it is in the digital signage area?
No, because LED is a big part of the digital signage thing. I mean, I've made suggestions to show organizers in the past that what you actually want, if you want to get my type of end user to your show, the advertisers, when you show something on an LED video wall, it has to be in context.
Right.
We're looking at something here which is pictures of flowers, and people will play Pixar movies, out of proportion, or somebody will plug a James Bond movie and play it on an LED, and it's 2 feet from you.
Rather than actual advertising content.
Yes, and it should be in context.
Or production content.
I think they need to. Shows like this are in competition from so many vertically focused shows. A show that focuses on retail, a show that focuses on hospitality,
right.
A show that focuses. We have in Europe, I don't know if you have one in the US, Passenger Terminal Expo. If you're into airports, if you sell things into airports, you go to Passenger Terminal Expo, and it's a high class quality show which gets people from every single airport and around the world going to buy product. So the vertically focused shows are the competition to a big show like this, and I think you need to keep the quality up. One of the things we've suggested to show organizers in the past is to have you need a creative director. You need to stop some of the rubbish that's put up on screens in my space from going up, because having a James Bond movie played on cheap Chinese LED, burning the backs of your eyeballs out, 3 feet in front of you, is not good for anybody. You won't get a Lamar, a Clear Channel, a JC Decaux coming to this sort of show, which is what you want, to up the whole thing, and looking at buying things if that continues.
You can find Brock McGinnis on Twitter at Brock McGinnis. You can find Adrian Cotterill at his website, dailydoo.com, daily, D-O-O-H. You can find Mr. Tucker on any such social platform at Tucker2s. Dave Hatz can be found on Twitter at DaveHatzAVI or on the AVI Systems website, avisystems.com. On our next segment, we have Phil Cordell from M3 Technologies, also he's known as the AV Professional Hi-Fi, Jamie Trader from AMX by Harman, Josh Srago from soundreason.org, as well as AVNation, and Bill Brown from BD Communications. We start out by asking Mr. Trader how the AMX purchase of SVSI happened.
Wow. Logistically, you could probably imagine how. Emotionally and philosophy, this is something we've been keeping our eye on for a really long time. We've really been invested in looking at the full signal distribution chain, getting media around the world, and we've we've kept our eye on it and played with different products. We've experimented with different technologies, and SVSI is obviously someone that's done some really remarkable things. So we've been watching and looking at the culture of the folks and looking at the technology. There couldn't be a better made-up for us. So it was kind of a decision already made in the stars for us. Yeah. Congratulations. Thank you. Very, very thrilled.
Bill Brown from BD Communications gives us his insight on what he saw at InfoComm 2015.
Wow, there was a number of things. I think it's more of what I heard. I heard that a lot of manufacturers are really looking at what the end user needs and really kind of designing things and really not just pushing back but saying, okay, this is what you're asking for, this we get it. And I think that's where our industry is going, and the more that we service the end user and make sure that they're going to do what they're going to do anyway, but we're going to, as professionals, support that. That's a good thing that I heard from a lot of the manufacturers around.
Phil Cordell lets us know what his thoughts are on the best of 2015 InfoComm.
I saw a lot of cool stuff, man. And first, let me say how excited I am to be in Brock McGinnis's chair. I felt the style and the wisdom when I sat down. Like, it just permeated. I was like, yes! I feel incredible. AV superpowers. No, that'll come later, I guess. I was interested to see in the collaboration space. It's such a hot term right now. Collaboration. Everybody's talking about it. I had heard rumors like, the Microsoft Surface Hub's coming out. You guys may as well just shut down. I mean, it's going to put you all out of business. I looked at it. I mean, it's cool. It's fine. I see what it does. We sell a lot of Mondo pads right now. And Mondo Pad, InFocus just did a 2.0 upgrade on their on their OS rather, and it's integrating some AirPlay, and I mean it's doing a lot of features that are pretty hot. So I think my takeaway from that is like, it's okay. It's gonna be okay, people. The sky is not falling.
Phil mentioned the Microsoft Surface Hub. I typically don't go after technology until it's in the second or third generation. So we talk about that for a minute.
Well, here's what I was told, and I won't say by who, but somebody at Microsoft was like, the hardware is perfect. It's awesome, but it's built on Windows 10, which is still wonky. And so it's crazy, I mean, it was freezing up during a demo. And I said, we do training. I get it. I've been here where you're trying to train. It's not working. You don't know what to do. So just relax. It's cool. But I mean, he said, yeah, it's not worked out on the back end just quite yet. But it will be someday, right?
Josh Srago spent an awful lot of time teaching at InfoComm 2015, but he did have the chance to go around the show floor, and he lets us know what he saw.
Well, I took a couple classes as well. I took Paul Zeeley's network security course, which
and his head's still mounted on his body. There was no
there may have been tuning out at some point in the 2 hours of, well, apparently according to Paul, what I've now acquired is an MBA in 2 hours, based on the information shared in that class for risk analysis. And there was wonderful information in the resources that he shared with those that were in the class. By the way, I just want to note, for a topic about network security in an industry where we talk about network topology and network transmissions all the time, why were there only 20 people in that course? The room seated 60. It was a third full. And I get it, Friday morning, 8 a.m., not a lot of people are necessarily here. They may have gone home on Thursday. It's also 8 a.m. on a Friday, so they're still hungover from the night before, but... And it's Paul Zeeley. Well, I get it. And it was brilliant and amazing, and even if you don't catch everything in it, you're still catching enough information to walk home and be able to talk to IT managers and clients about security and seeing the risk analysis tools that are available to you that you can't get elsewhere. It's literally, he built them himself. He is giving them to the industry if you bother to show up and get them. More people should be showing up to get them. But
and the cool thing about that is, those 20 people that were in that room, those are the best equipped, the best people that should have been in that room, because anyone who's going to sit down knowing Paul Zeeley and want to consume that information, they want the information, and they're going to make hay with that information.
And as a marketing tool to that, there were 2 members of my company in there. Well, if you really want to start getting into where I fit in the industry, I actually had a potential proof of case cause that my theories on net neutrality were accurate and have actually happened. I wrote slides on net neutrality for Melissa Dolman's courses so that way they could be presented. She asked me to come in and present on them when I could, and I was able to do 2 of 4 of her classes. But one of the classes, somebody walked up afterwards and said, it's interesting, you should bring this up at the very end of your course because we have a video conferencing unit that's been working for months, years possibly. I didn't catch how long, but it's have been flawless. And all of a sudden the rules go into effect Friday, and they go to a video conference this week, and suddenly it's very slow. And it gets bogged down. And eventually people start getting booted. And he started to realize, I can run speed tests on my ISP connections between the 2 devices, between the point-to-point of the communication of our video conferencing. I have that capability now, and I now know that's what I need to monitor. So we may already have a case out there where we actually get to file a complaint with the FCC and go, see, we need to be included under the protected data. Wow. And that in and of itself is one of the most exciting moments of the show for me, that I now have a case I can point to with a very well-known company in the United States. It's an acronym company.
Oh,
We asked Jamie Trader how his first InfoComm, being a part of Harman and a part of the Harman booth, was.
Everything you could expect, I would say, is what I got to say because it was just so true. This was just a phenomenal show for us. It's, we've had a year under our belt now of actually looking at what are real synergies we can pull together being part of a Harman Pro family, and you look at there's a synergy and looking at technology synergies, right? What technologies can we merge together? But then there's also, how do we make all this stuff that exists and these great things come together and easier to bring together? So some of the stuff we got to show on the floor really got to excite different brand fans when they saw what those integration pieces were, taking into account things like, taking the new Blue 103, a voice over IP enabled, small DSP processor, make that RPM configurable, and they have a Netlink's master be able to dial into faders and everything just from a web browser on the master. And I don't have to know Audio Architect, for example. I don't have to learn a new software tool. Those types of synergies of not necessarily even needing to change the product, just make them easier to all work together. For a first tier synergy, it was neat watching people light up seeing that. From an AMX specific perspective, it was just really fun. We've been so focused on developing platforms and not products for the last couple of years. So, again, this show, Bill, I think you mentioned it perfectly in terms of what manufacturers are really focused on in terms of what problems can we really solve. And the biggest problems we're focused on solving are just, simplifying implementation, maintenance, and use. So all these platform announcements that we got to make were really focused on dialing into those things. So all the folks that came through, it was neat seeing it resonate with them. So really rewarding show. I wish I would have gotten out on the floor and gotten to see some other things, but this is my first opportunity to step off of our booth the entire week. So it was a good week. It was a really good prom.
We asked Phil Cordell what surprised him at InfoComm 2015.
Yeah, man, just all the advancements in display technology have been blowing my mind. I found my way off onto a side room where there was a Barco massive screen. They said with unlimited points of touch. It was like a little secret. Yeah, it was a laser phosphor rear projection. No, I didn't. I felt like I should have. It was cool, man. To me, really, it was the closest thing I had seen to the Minority Report type screen, if you will, where you touch it and it just, yeah. For people that are getting audio only, it was kittens, is what it was. It created kittens.
You threw a kitten at the screen and it actually expanded.
Yeah.
Bill Brown and Josh Srago also give us their insight on what the most unexpected thing at InfoComm 2015 was.
Well, it was mentioned, Microsoft earlier. From their showing last year, with no product and just like a big chairs, right?
Charging station.
oh yeah.
And we're the World Cup.
Right. To really partner with some integrators and really present what they're doing, I think they're starting to get it, and hopefully they can have a product that will really make a difference. And so that was kind of surprising that they, come with one product and, a really large presence here. So hopefully next year they'll like step it up even more.
But from last year when they didn't have anything, I mean, was that them like, let's just go hang out around them and make them think we're one of them, and then next year we'll try to sell them something. Yeah, you know? Right? We were all like, what are they doing here? What's going on? It's the long play, you know?
Oh, I get the last word for this group of folks. Well, I gotta say, the most encouraging thing I see is the active participation in the community. The AV Selfie was bigger than ever this year. The amount of attendees in education, while the classes, it was odd. I heard a lot of people talk about the classes necessarily being down in attendance, but the diversity and number of classes seems to have gone up a little bit this year. And so it may just be that people are picking different sorts of things and attending that. I was fortunate. My class sold out. Yay! Right. System engineering for salespeople, and I had a great time doing it, and I had a great time participating. There was also wonderful participation from the standards plenary and getting people involved in trying to create standards, and the way that Anne Brigida from InfoComm changed that dynamic and moved it around and increased the participation from those that came was absolutely incredible. And I was completely blown away by that. And having that added communication and added participation and InfoComm's perpetual outreach that they're not being as quiet about as they used to be. They're starting to open up a little bit more and let people in and let people know what they're doing. Or it could just be that I volunteered for so many things I'm finally getting to hear it.
Now you know, right?
So it's one of those things. But
let's go with the first one.
they're opening
and again,
up, right?
I truly believe they are opening up to more avenues, and they're opening up to more people about what they're trying to do, how they're trying to help, and they're sending people out to do incredible things. And for me, being a part of that is why I joined this industry, to be a part of making this industry bigger, making this industry better, and making it look like what we know it to be to everyone else who just says, oh, well, it broke, call the AV guy. And that chance and that opportunity is only going to be had here, because this is the only place where you're going to get a rough estimate of 38,500 or so people attending this show. Not official, but may or may not have come from a reliable source as to where we stand for attendance here. So that having been there for us is kind of a nice benefit.
You can find Jamie Trader at AMX by Harmon, AMX.com. Phil Cordell can be found on Twitter at _AV_professional. Josh Srago can be found J Srago, SRAGO on Twitter. And Bill Brown can be found at BD Communications. For our last segment, we have Yuval Kramer from Kramer Electronics, Dawn Mead from Net AV and AVNation, as well as Craig McCormick from Commercial Integrator. We start out by asking Dawn what she saw at InfoComm 2015.
You know, I honestly have been so busy this week, I haven't had a chance to run the floors very much. There were a few cool shinies that I definitely want. AV Grump over there is not going to be happy, but I totally want one of those mirror LCD panels in the living room. That way, you know, when it's turned off, I can do my hair, or people can think it's decor. And then when we turn it on, we can watch whatever we want on the big screen. That's kind of cool. But I think the most exciting thing has been some of the InfoComm efforts for women this year. Our Women's Breakfast continued this year, and it was the first meeting officially at the show of the Women of InfoComm Networking Council, which is open to men and women. You all are welcome, because this is one of the coolest, most welcoming industries in the STEM world for women. And so we're not going to exclude our brothers, because you guys rock. The breakfast is not free, but you get RUs for coming. So it's a sweet gig. They feed you, they bring in great speakers, and you get RUs for doing it. So
Next up, Craig McCormick gives us his insight on what he experienced at the show.
Yeah, I know there's mixed reaction to Microsoft being here, especially after last year, but I thought that was it was really cool, and especially comparing it to last year. That was the first appointment I made last year and the first appointment I made this year, and I can't believe the difference. And it's been a busy booth the entire week, and it looks like, you know, there's obviously buy-in from integrators and from manufacturers into the Surface Hub. So, I mean, I think they're going to make their mark in the next year.
Craig mentioned the Microsoft Surface Hub. One of the things that came out during the show were the different levels for integrators and distributors. I asked Craig what the differences were.
What's the difference? I think you'd have to ask Microsoft about that, because I don't know for sure what the difference is, but I just think it's neat that, you know, they're here and they're, you know, obviously have shown an effort. They want to be part of this industry, and people want them to be here. And, you know, these big, it's AVI, SPL, it's Whitlock, it's, you know, some of the biggest players in the industry are buying in. So, I know it's a little bit pricey for some of the mom and pop shops to get involved with, you know, $20,000 for a. Yeah, I know, but still, and you know, it's whatever, $7,000 for the smaller one, and that's still a lot of money. So it's not for everybody, certainly, and I know there's been some criticism about it, but just after the way last year went and the effort that they put into to make sure that this year was, you know, the exact opposite, I just thought it was great.
Yuval Kramer from Kramer Electronics gives us his insight on how his show was.
No, it was completely empty. I was just by myself. Yeah, just by myself. No, I was sure it's gonna be busy. Yeah, I know. No, it was not empty at all. We were working for the last several months of the new cycle of Kramer. So we introduced a new company here. I don't know if you heard about it. Kramer Electronics is a brand new company now. Yeah, we changed our entire face. We are no longer doing boxes. There are no more boxes in Kramer. There are just complete different agenda for really end-to-end solutions.
Yuval talks about K-Touch, Kramer's control system.
We want the control product of the show, best in show control product for Kramer Electronics. So it is a new way for us. It's a new face. We changed our entire agenda. We came twice as more powerful than what we left last year, which was an excellent show last year, but we came much better now. This was fascinating. It's always, we are 34 years in the business and trying to reinvent ourselves every once in a while, and we really got it. We really got it now. So it's super exciting for us, and part of what came out from that is us being in the booth super busy, saw very few things outside the booth. Saw the sun and the humidity. Yeah, and our booth from the inside out.
Dawn Need tells us why she comes to InfoComm.
You know, honestly, I don't mind not seeing the show this year on the floor because I come to InfoComm for the people, for the energy, for the education, and not just the formal classes from InfoComm, but just standing here and talking to someone like Paul Zealy or some of the women I spoke with this week at the breakfast, people that have been in the industry for years and coming from different industries into our industry. It's just phenomenal. Sometimes I just want to sit and listen to everything they say and soak it in. So it's the relationships with the people and learning from them and just feeling this whole energy. And it's InfoComm, man. It's come on. I mean, I'll get to ISE. Don't get me wrong. I will get there if I have to walk. But we're coming. It's all about the relationships, and I look forward to building them in Europe. But here, I love you guys, right? That's what it's about.
Yuval and Craig also tell us why they come to InfoComm.
Yeah, because I have to. Yeah, my dad makes me. No, you come here on the floor and you talk to so many brilliant guys. That's my thing, you know. You just talk to guys that have full boxes up here, and I love that. I love being challenged. I always tell my sales guys in the booth, whenever a smart guy comes along, you know, that asks hard questions, let me have him, because I like being tested on a daily basis, and this is an excellent situation for a back and forth with excellent guys. We have them all over here, and I love that. So this is why I will come here, even if my father will not force me to come here.
You just never know what you're going to see. I think that's kind of the biggest surprise. This year, I went to a breakfast and Dave Labuscus was there, and I thought it was going to be a, you know, welcome to InfoComm sort of thing, and it turned out to be a, you know, kind of a call to integrators to make sure you get more involved with InfoComm. That, you know, that basically saying InfoComm hasn't done a great job, you know, staying connected with its integrators, and the opposite is true, and he's going to make an effort to do that. And I posted a story about that this morning. And with regard to, you know, kind of what's new, what's coming, one trend that I've noticed this year is there's a lot less vaporware, and they're real. No, I'm not kidding.
Craig McCormick from Commercial Integrator mentions he doesn't think there's as much vaporware at InfoComm this year. I asked him to define that or qualify that.
Just based on, you know, I always ask, you know, when is this going to be shipping? Is it shipping now? And there's been a lot more. They're shipping in July, they're shipping in August, they're shipping in September. Then we're shipping, next year. You'll see it by next year. I've heard a lot less of, it's coming in 2016. That sort of stuff, and it's definitely been noticeable. And I don't know if that was like a conscious thing that somebody told people to only bring the stuff that you're going to be shipping soon or already shipping, but it definitely is a lot more noticeable this year. So
you can find Dawn Mead on social media at AVDawn. Craig McCormick can be found on Twitter at Craig McCormick, and Yuval can be found at Kramer Electronics website. All right, that wraps up the Live from InfoComm 2015, Episode 1. You can find more information about AVNation on avnation.tv. avnation.tv, you'll find this program and a host of others. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching. This has been AV Week.